Time check is 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world. We welcome you to Global TV's News Prime, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. On the news, stakeholders in the health sector on Wednesday emphasized the need for intensive vaccination drive. The call was made in Abuja during the third quarter review meeting of Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on PHC delivery, organized by the Federal Ministry of Health in collaboration with National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Sharon Ajay, who was at the event for Global TV, now brings us details.
Dr. Pate commended the Northern leaders on behalf of the federal government on their effort to eradicate wild polio virus and the commitment to improving the lives of people across the country over a 12-year period, with evidence of only a tiny minority of children living with polio.
We're here to reflect on the progress that has been made, and the Chief Executive of MPHCD articulated some of those important progress that we have accomplished. We have made a lot of progress on the polio, on routine immunization, but there's still a lot of things that we need to do going forward, including the residues of circulating mutant polio virus in at least some of our states, particularly in Zamfara states, in part of it, but also in part of Sokoto state, which we are going deeper to deal with. There are areas of our country where children still are missed, that have zero dose. I think those are also an area that we will continue to explore how we can double down, and your support in that direction will be very helpful.
The health minister, however, acknowledged that there is more work that needs to be done, saying this is only a phase of the movement as more impact is required, particularly in states where children have zero dose of the vaccine. He assured that actions are being taken, all aimed at preventing the spread of the diphtheria outbreak around the 19 states where it has been detected.
98% of those who have diphtheria, the children that have diphtheria, have not been immunized. So in a way, we are finding an example of the power of vaccines to prevent the disease. So if those children had been vaccinated, they would not have had diphtheria. But we have to catch up. And as the ED mentioned, there is no discrimination because it spreads from one person to the other. So we are committed as government to bring it under control. That is why I set up an emergency task force led by the Executive Director of MPHCD and the Director General of Nigeria Center for Disease Control and our partners to aggressively work with the state government.
On his part, the Sultan of Sokoto, Sa'ad Abubakar, appreciated effort geared at facilitating the effective administration of the vaccine all over Nigeria. He extended his gratitude to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as well as Aliko Dangote for their immense contribution.
So I think it was in March 2009 when Bill Gates came to Sokoto to see me. Because he had the wonderful job we did in the first 1 year of this committee. They couldn't believe within 1 year there is a drastic reduction of polio cases in Nigeria. So they wanted to see how we do it. The rest is history. But from that March 2009 to now, Bill Gates never went back. And that's why at all times, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are always living with us, helping us, supporting us, ensuring that we get funds to do our jobs.
Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Nigeria Senate has directed 5 of its committees to commence investigation into oil theft and its impact on petroleum production and oil revenues in the country. Kike Lamoke reports that the committees which were given the mandate and the floor of plenary include petroleum upstream, downstream, gas, Niger Delta, and that in charge of host communities. As well, the Labour Party's president.
The resolution was reached after the debate on a motion sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko and 2 others. In his debate, Senator Nwoko noted that in March 2023, Nigeria lost over 65.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at $83 per barrel, translating to revenue loss of 2.3 trillion naira as a result of oil theft.
The motion is for urgent need to investigate the incessant and nefarious acts of crude oil thefts in the Niger Delta and the actors. In March 2023, Nigeria incurred a substantial loss of 65.7 million barrels of crude oil, valued at $83 per barrel, translating to a staggering revenue loss of 2.3 trillion as a result of oil theft.
Contributing to the debate, other lawmakers highlighted the need to address the issue of oil theft and its attendant consequences on the environment and economy of Nigeria.
What I would suggest is not for us to continue to lament or set up inquiries. My suggestion, Mr. President, is that given the seriousness of this situation, and I will dare say before the new government, each agent gets sucked into the tradition, this is the time to stop it.
In supporting this motion, if you look at it, there are a lot of salient points he made. He said the bunkering started in 1970. We are in 2023 now, which means that's 53 years ago. Up till now, we've not been able to solve it. He said 2.3 trillion is being stolen every year. That's a lot of money. How much is even the budget of Nigeria? The biggest problem we have in this country, Mr. President, is punitive measure. All these things, there are a lot to it. A colleague of mine now was contributing. He even said at his backyard, he has been arresting people who are bunkering, doing bunkering at his backyard, but nothing has happened.
In his remark, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who also alluded to the issues raised by the colleagues, urged the investigative panel to come up with a lasting solution.
Into the actions of security forces, militia groups, the local populace, oil company employees, and any individual or entities suspected to be using sophisticated methods to pilfer our oil resources from the oil facilities within our country. Those in support of the prayer won't say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The committee were given 6 weeks to conclude work on investigation and report back to the plenary. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
The Labour Party presidential candidate in Nigeria's 2023 election, Peter Obi, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's ledgering certificate issues with the Chicago State University has further worsened the glorious image of Nigeria internationally. Addressing the journalists in Abuja, Obi asked President Tinubu to again tell Nigerians the schools he attended if he participated in the one-year National Youth Service Corps. Sharon Aje has more.
The Labour Party presidential candidate also called on President Tinubu to reintroduce himself to the nation and the world at large, rather than outsourcing that responsibility to political surrogates.
To the outsiders, the entire Chicago University matter, as well as Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu's many other lingering identity question marks, have further worsened Nigerian less than glorious image internationally. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. He should indicate clearly where and when he did his National Youth Service. In addition, if at any time he had a change of name, he should state so clearly and circumstance. That is itself is no crime. This is a simple task that will take only a few minutes. It requires no affidavit, prolonged court process, spokesperson, agents or surrogates. The task is one that only Chief Bola Tinubu himself, through a direct personal statement, can perform.
The former Anambra State Governor maintains that having occupied the highest political office in the country, President Tinubu no longer has a right to any privacy regarding his identity.
In his present capacity as a leader of a nation of over 200 million Nigerians. His true identity is a matter of grave national and international interest. The people deserve to know with certainty the true identity of their leader, and this overrides whatever rights he may have to personal privacy.
It could be recalled that PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has requested the release of President Tinubu's certificate from the Chicago State University over the suspicion that the certificate of the former Lagos State governor submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, may not be authentic. During a press conference last week after the president's academic records were released to him, the former vice president who is challenging Tinubu's election called on Obi, Rabiu Kwankwaso and other Nigerians to join his quest for justice over the matter. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Honorable Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo commissioned 15 rapid response firefighting vehicles and 6 heavy firefighting trucks. The minister challenged officers and men of the service to roll their sleeves for work, stating that the era of work is now. In line with the renewed hope agenda of the president, he challenged authorities of the fire service that their operations should be beyond firefighting, that his service must also forecast for impending fire outbreak and other disaster. The minister stated this on Wednesday at the commissioning of the firefighting vehicles at the headquarters of Federal Fire Service, Abuja. Tunji-Ojo also implored the FFS that its Fire Institute would not only be personnel training alone, it must integrate training of fire rescuers who would be deployed to man commercial and public buildings to ensure compliance with fire safety mechanism. The Controller General of Federal Fire
Movement